Well, thank you for coming on my show, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me, brother. How you doing?
Doing great. You're film director, producer. I saw you done a lot of work. So, we can start with your 2016 film that you directed, and then we'll go on and move on to your current one. I'm going from the past because you've done
Okay.
so many works. I'm naming up all the way to the current now, but your 2016 all the way till 2021. I'm just going in order here, but your 2016. You did your Gabby Revenge. That
Yeah.
was in 2016. Of course, another one you did your Final Days together, and then the list goes on and on and on. It's you've done a lot of work. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. And then of course your current one that you did in 2020, 21 with who was on my show, Miss Actress Diana. So and she played a role on your film. So let's talk about your recent film that you've done, Negativity, and what can you tell everyone about that?
Yeah, so Negativity, we did that back in 2020. It's a COVID film. It's about a character named Sean. He's like a con artist, and his daily routine is he's hustling people left and right, selling people fake masks, COVID vaccine pills, things of that nature. And apparently he hustled the wrong person, and that person happened to be a mob boss, and that mob boss is actually giving him till like the end of the day to pay the money that he hustled out of that person. And throughout that entire day, things are just spiraling out of control with his character. And there's a side story going on involving his mom and his sister who are dealing with COVID. So the thing is too that I want to clarify, even though the film takes place during, 2020 COVID, it's not about COVID. It's the people that are trying to adjust to the new normal of that time.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of happy that it finally came out this year because we're slowly getting away from COVID to the point where there's very little to no mass restrictions anymore. So it's become kind of like a timepiece where people can go back and go, wow, I remember that. I remember going through that, or I remember having a family member or a friend or someone I knew that had COVID or passed away from it. So that is what I'm currently working on right now. And thankfully it came out on Amazon Prime Video. So I'm just happy for the fact that it finally came out after all working on that project for all these years.
And what made you decide to make this film?
So originally there would I had a feature film that I was working on. It was called Side Effects, and it's based on a short film that I did a few years ago, like 2017. And me and my co-writer David De La Fay, we actually wrote that script first before Negativity, and we had a table read and everything. But then COVID happened, and during that time, I was a little concerned about where our industry was going to go because
Hmm.
again, this is at the time when like COVID is at an all-time high. We can't go out. We're on lockdown. People are getting sick. People are
Hmm.
dying. And I was going through a rough time as well mentally because I'm used to being on a set. I'm used to interacting with people. I'm used to writing and creating my own
Right.
projects. So I remember I was watching this show on CBS. I don't know if it's still airing. It's called All Rise, and it's about a African American judge who basically works in LA. Now, the first season,
Hmm.
they were actually not finished. They were still in production, but during COVID, I think they had to shoot like two other episodes, and they shot these episodes all through Zoom and FaceTime. And they addressed COVID. So I sat back and I said, why don't I do something like this, but turn it into a story that I would like to talk about? And that's how Negativity came out. I was inspired by a show that I saw. And I also wanted to do something short and simple because originally Negativity was supposed to be a short film. But the problem was the film was too long for a short, but too short for a feature film. So what we did was we extended the short version and shot extra scenes. And the thing was, a lot of what I was feeling, a lot of what I was dealing, a lot of what I was experiencing during COVID, I wanted to write down and I wanted to bring it to life. I wanted to tell somewhat of a personal story because even though it is, quote unquote, a COVID film, it's the most personal film I've ever done out of any of the other projects I've done in the past because I'm touching on a topic that I'm not comfortable touching on, which
Mhm.
is family problems, internal family problems that I've dealt with over the years, and I was a little happy to address that in this film. So that's how it really all started.
And wow, and I've seen the trailer of it. It looks amazing.
You
Wonderful. You did great. And it's out on Amazon Prime. Is it out only on Amazon Prime?
As of right now, only Amazon Prime Video. We're trying to get it on other streaming platforms, so crossing fingers. But as of right now, it is available to rent or buy on Amazon Prime Video.
And this was where was this filmed at?
This is all in Miami. This is
Okay.
Miami, Fort Lauderdale, all in the South Florida area.
Oh, wow. And how long did it take for you to film this?
Um, I would say like at least a month,
Hmm.
because the thing was when we did the short version, it was really like a week. But when we extended it, it turned into like a month because then we were shooting a lot of extra scenes. Because the majority of the film, it's kind of like what we're doing right now. We're having a conversation through Zoom. The main character who's stuck at home, he is, basically talking to everybody through his phone. He's FaceTiming people, and all the actors were not in the same scene. Like I basically had to go to like someone else's house, one of the actors, and film their scenes and splice it together to make it seem like they were having a back and forth conversation. So that was real easy. But when we decided to extend it to a feature, we had to shoot more scenes, we had to get more actors, and we had to go to different locations. So that extended the production time for this project.
Wow. And that it must have been hard to, go to people's houses and then record them and then you know, try to cut the scene or try to put it together.
Actually, it wasn't that hard because what I did was the main character Jeffrey, played by Jeffrey. He right, I can never say his last name, but Jeffrey. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
Jeffrey, if you're watching this. I shot all his scenes first. And then what I did was most of the time, a lot of the actors that he was talking to, they were watching his scenes through playback, or sometimes I would feed him his lines so they had something to react to. So it really wasn't that difficult. I think the only difficult thing was just scheduling and trying to meet up with the actors, because almost every scene, that we shot, it was just either me, the DP, and the sound guy. Or sometimes it was just me and the
Mhm.
DP because, we couldn't have so many people on set due to COVID. And it felt like my first short film that I did back in college, where I didn't really have a crew. I just had like 2 to 3 people, my buddies, to help me out. And we shot a little small project. It was like going back in time. It was like a nostalgia vibe, just shooting a film with friends, except this time it's a feature film.
Wow. And of course you said you're just trying to expand it out to more platforms. So again, congratulations that it's on Amazon Prime.
Thank you.
Now, a little bit about you. You're from New York, but you moved to Florida, is that correct?
Yeah, I moved to Florida like years ago. So like my New York card has been revoked. It's expired. So I'm at a point now where I'm like, listen, I have a New York attitude, but I am a Floridian at heart now. So like I'm claiming Miami now. Like so, yeah, I was born in New York. Then I moved. My family moved here to
Hmm.
Florida, and I've been here for a very long time. And I went to college here in Florida, and I've been working here in Florida. And as of right now, I got no plans of leaving Florida anytime soon.
And of course, the weather in Florida is beautiful. Can't argue about that.
Yeah, yeah, and not to mention, I'm not a fan of snow anymore. Especially the last time I went there, I was like, yeah, I prefer the heat.
Right, 100%. So do you have any other upcoming projects that you're going to be doing?
Yeah, right now I'm currently working on another feature film called Side Effects, the one I was telling you about earlier. We're currently in production with that project. That project is a little more ambitious compared to Negativity because that one it's an ensemble cast. There's a bigger crew. Like there's a lot more locations. There's a lot more things. The budget is a lot more bigger than Negativity.
Hmm.
And thankfully, we're about 50, 60% done, but we still have a way to go. I'm hoping we can be done production wise by next year. But that's the project I'm currently working on. That's a project that I've been working on all the way back to 2019. Because originally, like I said, we were supposed to shoot it in 2020, but then COVID happened.
Right. unfortunately, COVID has done a lot of, nobody could do anything during COVID.
Yeah, unfortunately, because the thing is, my day job, I work in the news, so like I still had to go to work and cover all this while my family and everybody else was dealing with this. So it was a weird time for me because I just was like really like I really want to get back to. I had that crave, I had that itch. Because the thing
Right.
is, for me, it's like filmmaking is not just a hobby for me or just like a
Hmm.
game. It's kind of like my way of life. Like
Right.
this is how I respond. This is what brings me true happiness and brings me a purpose in life. Like I strive for that.
Right.
It's more than just for fame because really you can be a filmmaker, but like if you're trying to strive to be famous, there's no point. It's either
Right.
you're in it all the
100%.
way or not.
Hmm. And yeah, this, like I said, this is our passion, 100%. And if we don't have passion, then why pursue it, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, listen, if this is not what you want to do, then go do something else. Because again, like I feel like you got to have like thick skin for this business because it will eat you up, swallow you, and then spit you out if you cannot hang. Because you're not, I don't care what anyone says, you're not gonna be famous, you're not gonna be successful
Right.
within your first few years. Like that's why you got to keep grinding. That's why you got to keep improving.
Hmm.
Because the
Hmm.
more you do, the more you work, the more you improve. It's like an exercise. The more you exercise, the more weight you lose.
Yeah, that's true, 100%. Now, if you don't mind me mentioning, like as
Yeah.
you've done like in 2019 before the pandemic happened, you did Our Final Days Together. That was a zombie movie. And then, of
Right.
course, in 2016, you did that movie as well. Um, and then in 2018, you did Side Effects. Um, if you don't mind mention, since we talked about your movie that came out in 2021, what can you tell the views about your 2016, your Our Final Days Together, and the brief details. I'm not going to go into details about a mother who had to kill her daughter because she was afraid before she turned to a zombie. What can you go a little more details, and what was the surprising um, big thing to get the audience to make them watch the film that was coming out in 2019?
So, Final Days Together, I consider it to be like a trilogy of short films.
Hmm.
Um, I at the time I kind of wanted I was experimenting because the thing was before negativity, I was doing a lot of short films. I spent over like 10 years doing short films. But then as I got older, I realized like, the real money and the longevity in our business is doing feature films. But at that time when I was doing short films, I was experimenting with different genres. So Final Days Together is actually like an apocalyptic zombie film, but what I did was I was inspired by like 28 Days Later and Night of the Living Dead, but I was also inspired by classic cinema where I wanted to always shoot a black and white film. Like all three of the films are black and white. And it's very female driven. The main, like, I'll say like this throughout the series, there's probably like three or four men. The
Hmm.
lead actors, all the characters are all females. And I wanted to, just basically try to experiment visually because um, usually when I work on a film, it's dialogue heavy. But whereas
Hmm.
Final Days Together, my challenge, my goal was to be a little bit more visual with the film, so I could like show off that I can do more than just doing a talking heads film.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, like the first film was like experimental, and even though looking back at it, I think it's kind of flawed. I felt Final Days Together 2 and Final Days Together 3, the one that you were telling about that came out in 2019, I felt they were vastly improved in terms of storytelling because I was able to really grab the material and
Right.
improve and just really tell a good story visually. And also, I consider the second one to be my personal favorite because I felt like the story that I wrote was a lot more gripping because this time
Hmm.
it turned into more like a classic horror film instead of a typical
Right.
zombie film. Because in the first film that we did, there was a bunch of zombies, where
Right.
in the second film, there's only one zombie. And in the last film, the third one, there's no zombies. I mean, you hear one in the background. I just wanted to focus more on the characters.
Right.
So yeah, so it's really just a group of characters
Hmm.
dealing with the zombie apocalypse. It's inspired by The Last of Us and The Walking
Mhm.
Dead, and it was heavily inspired by Resident Evil. So I was really just going in that direction, but really it was just
That's
more like a challenge for me.
That's amazing that it's you got inspired by Resident Evil, and of course the 2019 the cast of Justin Brackett, and of course Katie McKay was in the 2019 film. So shout out to them,
That's
and of course of you as well. Now Side Effects 2018. Um, I'm going back and forth. Apologize, but your that film that came out. It's about brief details about owning money to a local drug dealer, etc. And what can you tell the audience? Everybody who sees that title is thinking, why is this movie about drug dealers? So what inspired you and what made you made this film?
So I just want to say Side Effects, out of all the projects I have done, it's my personal favorite because of how much fun I had doing that. It's a comedy, and I mean it's really out there. I mean, we're the how do I break this down? It's about two roommates that owe money to a gangster, and they do this drug deal to pay the gangster back. But the drug that they're selling is turning people into cannibalistic, raging zombies.
Wow.
So but the thing is, what it's funny because I wrote the script, like I wrote the first draft like back in 2014, 15, and the tone was a lot more serious.
Hmm.
And I had attempted to shoot it, but I didn't like how it came out. I just felt like me and the actors at that time did not have a chemistry, and I was way too green at that time. So I shelved it. And then I went to like a writing workshop back in 2017. And I remember I had a couple of actors read the script out loud. We were like, it was like at a stage, it was like in a theater. And I remember the people that were a part of that workshop, they would not stop laughing. They were laughing their butts off. So that's when I said, you know what? Why don't I develop this into a short film? So the thing was, my inspiration for Side Effects was it was a little bit of Shaun of the Dead. It was a little bit of Guy Ritchie films like Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And I was heavily, heavily influenced by Japanese cinema, like the likes of like Takashi Miike and Kinji Fukasaku films, where I incorporated that and I turned it into this real wild, wild film. Like it was really out there, but it was cute, it was charming, funny, and vulgar. Where that film was also very, very, very helpful for me because after I did that short film, we submitted it to a bunch of film festivals and we were winning a ton of awards, a lot of awards. And even at that time, I was even getting jobs just from that film alone. So I'm blessed for that film. And also, too, like, my lead actor and co-writer for the feature film, David De La Faye, because of that project, we created kind of like a film family because
Right.
from that point on, a lot of those actors I still continue working with, or I've worked with them in the past.
Well, that's amazing. Of course, the cast is Chase and Yoshina and all the stuff in that film. And then, like I said in the very beginning of the show, I apologize, but 2016 was Gabby's Revenge. And yeah,
Yeah.
this I apologize. I said that in the very beginning, but I was naming these lists because you've done so much work and being a film director and producer and leading up till back to 2021. But Gabby's Revenge, yeah, cast, you got Caroline Wood, you got Marlene Krim, you got all these people in your cast in the film. And what is Gabby's Revenge about?
So Gabby's Revenge was a web series. It was inspired by a short film I did around that time in 2015, really, called George and Angie. And it was like this romantic comedy short film I did at that time. But the thing was, I consider it to be like one of my weaker films.
Hmm.
I'm like looking back at it, like I was just so green at the time. And the thing was, at that time, that was like the biggest cast and crew I ever worked with. And it was very overwhelming for me that I wasn't ready to tackle on a project like that. And also, like, I kind of like gave up halfway. I got like real lazy because I wasn't liking how it was going. So instead of striving, I gave up. And Gabby's Revenge was I did that because it's all in the same universe of that short film. But I did that because originally it was supposed to be called Angie's Revenge, based on a character from
Right,
George
right.
and Angie, where you know, that character, like I'll give you a summary of George and Angie. George is this guy who was coming back from who was coming out of a breakup. Like he got cheated on his girlfriend, and
Mhm.
his friend Alex invites him to a party to, be happy and have a good time. And George meets a girl at the party called Angie, who has a bad history of basically being promiscuous and was sleeping around with a bunch of people. But the thing was, it was just a rumor and something that got blown out of proportion. And he really got a chance to see who she really was. And she was actually a good, the girl next door, a good girl. And what I did was at the time I said like, what if I did like a side story where like Angie got revenge on the people that bullied her and she went and shot all of them up. So what happened was we had that all planned, but the day of, the actress that played Angie backed out at the last minute.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So then my friend, my good friend Amanda Ortega, who I've worked with all constantly since then, she was gonna show up on set, and she's an actress. And maybe an hour, 2 hours before call time, I said, "Hey, listen, change of plans. Something happened. You're the lead actress." She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Don't worry. There's no dialogue. You're just basically shooting a bunch of people up." And it started off as like a little fun teaser. And then what I did was, wait a minute, what if I expand that little idea that I had and turn it into a web series?
Hmm.
And that's what we did. And I had to say, Gabby's Revenge, like looking back, in my opinion, it's a bit rough at parts. Like I feel like there was a lot of mistakes that I did on that
Right.
film, but looking back at it, I'm still proud of it because there was a time where I almost wanted to give up filmmaking. I wasn't liking what I was receiving, the response I was getting. I just felt like, what am I doing wrong? And it was becoming overwhelming. And
Hmm.
I remember when we did Gabby's Revenge, it got a very solid reception from from the local community, and I won an award. I won my first award for best web series at this Miami Film Fest, and that was like a motivation factor because I'm like, wait, did I just win an award? So like that I'm proud of Gabby's Revenge also too because Gabby's Revenge, I met a lot of people through that project, like Amanda Ortega and Annie Jones and Vanya Villita, David De La Fey, who I mentioned several times. Like I met most of them through that project, and I still continue working with them to this day.
Hmm.
We that project was the start of like what I call the quote unquote film family that we
Right.
were developing. Because since then, I would often ask them if they wanted to be a part of my next project or whatever I was doing.
And congratulations for winning the award. And and I'm
Thanks.
I'm glad you're still pursuing your film, making films, and the films tell people's stories. That's what I will admit, 100%. We the movies make tell people's stories. Back to your 2021, before we get there, where can people see Gabby's Revenge, our final days together, and our side effects? Where can people see that?
So all my short films are available on YouTube. It's under my page, Cinefreak Productions. You just type in Cinefreak Productions, and immediately that the page will show up, and all my short films from that era is all available to watch.
So everyone should watch that. Back to your negativity. What made you find out that Nadia Adili was going to be your character as Naomi on the film?
Actually, that I just reached out to her because she was like like she was a mutual friend of one of my filmmaker friends, Francine Monroe. Like, she just had like a really small role in that film. It was like a blink if you miss it. It was I
Hmm.
like to call it like kind of like a glorified cameo, but it was really. I just called her up and I said, "Hey, you want to be a part of this project?" She's like, "Yeah." That was really it.
Well, I like to name all these cast members in there in films because they all like you said, we're all a family in the films, and when we make stories,
No,
for
right.
example.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I do have a funny story involving Diana Garley, who you had on your show.
Oh yes, yes, Diana Garley. Yes, she's she's been on my show. She's a wonderful actress, and
I'm like, yeah, like, because matter of fact, she's in my new project Side Effects. She has like a big supporting role in that film.
Hmm.
But at the time, I was doing auditions for one of the main roles, and she auditioned for that role. And while she didn't get that role, I was so impressed with her audition that I said, "Hey, listen, I can't give you this role, but I have another role. It's a supporting role. But if you're interested, you're more than happy to, accept the role. Cause like I would love for you to be a part of this because I was so impressed with her skills as an actress because the thing is, she cries on cue. I have never worked with an actor that cries on cue. I've worked with a lot of method actors, talented actors that need like their space, their time. With her, it's like like right when we get to that point, the tears are coming out. I'll yell cut, and she's like, "Hey, that was good. We're gonna do that again." And it's like, I'm like, "All right, let's do that again." Okay. I'm like, "You need a second?" She's like, "No, no." Just like how she did it before. Like that really impressed me. The fact that she could cry in cue. And when we shot her scenes, we shot it at her apartment. Like it was just me. It was me. I brought my camera. It was her dog Pickles. Like it was at her apartment at that time. We shot all her scenes in like maybe less than 4 or 5 hours. It was a 1 day shoot. And I'll say this, I am so happy that I got to work with her because we developed like a good, a good bond, a working relationship to where I'm like, man, if I can work with her more often, it's like a day off because she's always prepared, she's always professional, and the thing is like she knows her stuff and very, very easy to direct.
Wow, I didn't know she can cry on cue and stop crying on cue.
That blew my mind when I saw that. I was like, because I mean, listen, I've worked with actors that they literally need like something to make them cry. Or there was one actor who I will not mention, like he demanded to be smacked in order to cry, and I'm like, what? I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, like yeah. I mean, like I always said, actors have so many methods to their madness. So it's just like I just love the fact that Diana is just like a pro at this. Like she's been doing this since she was young, and like shout outs to her, man.
Yes, and it's been an honor. She was on my show, and she talked about all her roles and the age she started, and and she said it was by if I'm wrong, please forgive me, but she started this by accident, and so and she talked about all her film work, and you're right, she's done a lot, and amazing roles that she's been in.
Yeah, man, she is talent. Money, like I said, she's money, and I'm hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping that like she really gets there to the point where she's in that A-list level because I know that she's gonna make it. And if not, she's already there in my eyes.
100%, 100% in my book too as well. And you said she's going to be work with you in other, uh, excuse me, other future projects as well.
Yeah, she's in my new film Side Effects. She plays a supporting role in that film. I can't talk about that yet. I
Yeah,
don't
I
like,
understand. I understand.
but with negativity, since it's already out, like I said, she was a joy to work with. And I want to give another shout out to another actress that I worked with on Negativity, Stacey Walker. She plays a very big role in that film. She plays the mom of like the main character, and she was a pro.
Yes,
Like
I
I
was
was
about to
very impressed with her too.
pardon me, I was about to mention that name as well. Um on the film. I actually have a list, a lot of actors and actors in that film. So many I won't name this, but name the list. But you're right. Stacey was amazing, and that's why I mentioned Naomi's the character who played Naomi as well, because she's in that film, even though for a little bit. But on the cast in this negativity film, I saw the trailer. It was amazing. I
Thank you.
loved it. You did a great job, and I hope a lot of people do see this film. It's worth it, and it's people need to see it. They need to support this film and let it go out to other networks and let this grow and grow and grow. It's very important.
No, I appreciate that, and I'm hoping that it grows, and I hope that it basically reaches other platforms and other people because it's the thing is too. It's just like I feel like again, this is just my opinion. I feel like there's a lot of stories out there that are not being told in Hollywood, And the thing is, I feel like the independent scene is really, really, really growing. I mean, especially with streaming, like there's so many great stories that are being told. I'm hoping that, more independent filmmakers, they're able to get their work out there so people could see something different. Because, a lot of people always complain about seeing the same stuff. I mean, there's a lot of talented filmmakers, a lot of talented writers out there that are doing different things, fresh new ideas. And I think, the major networks out there in the studio should give these new people a chance. Because, I mean, look, a great example Barbie and Oppenheimer, they were the top selling films of this year. They were not superhero films. And it just shows that, the general audience went to see something different.
Yeah,
And
that's
I feel that, yeah.
that's
I'm sorry, cut
100%
you off.
true. No, no, no. It's that's 100% true. I totally agree with you. You know, we as independent, we want to see. I say we. I'm not a film director. We want to see a lot of these independent films, and like yourself and a lot of actors out there who are in the independent film industry, where they're telling people stories, and that's in the streaming platforms and etc., which is amazing. So I'm so happy about that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I do consider myself to be a storyteller, and I feel like a filmmaker's job, in my opinion, is to either entertain or educate. Do one of the two or do both. But
Hmm.
if you're gonna be doing films, you got to either do one or the other, or try to combine both, because
Right.
that's what we're here to do. We're here to either educate or we're here to entertain. And I right now I'm loving the fact that I can entertain people with the stories that I come up with, and I'm really liking the fact that there are people out there that like it. And my thing is, I want to continue doing this until the day I die. Like there's no like I'm at a point now where like I've been doing this close to 10 years. Like I'm now like I'm almost not almost there, but I'm starting the journey. Like I finally did a feature film. It's now available to watch. People can pay for it. Like to me, that's just the beginning. Like my goal is to like continue striving to the point where like, the movies, my new movies are available to watch nationwide, or they're available to watch in theaters. Like that's my main goal. But also another goal that I have, and this is kind of like my thing, is these ideas that I have, I need to take this chicken crap and turn it into chicken salad.
Hmm.
That I want to keep putting out more quality stuff, because I started at a time when I was putting out nothing but quantity, where I was cranking out 4 to 5 short films a year. Now I'm slowing down because as I get older, it's like, less is more. And if you take your time, it'll be a lot better, because I want, like, here's the thing. I'm at the point now where I'm like, look, if I ever pass away, I'd rather my movies be well remembered. At least people remember, you know what? I don't remember that guy's name, but I remember his movie.
That's true. You want, you want people to remember you, but also remember your film, how great work you've done. And
Yeah, but I'll tell you like this. If they remember my movies, that's all that matters to me. Because the thing is, like, people die, but movies don't.
hmm,
Movies last forever.
that is true.
And like that's how I look at it. Like cinema is just life. That will always last. That's why I'm like, if I do as much as I can, people, I will live on through film. Because then people will be
Right.
like, oh, I remember his film. Yeah, yeah. Like that's my mindset now. It's like if I continue working, I continue doing this stuff, and even when I pass away, at least people can go back and go, oh,
That's 100% true. Movies will be out forever, but they will remember the movie. And that's you see old movies, 1940s, 1930s, 1960s, and so on. They're out forever. The actors and actresses may be passed away, like you said, but we remember the movie, and then we have to somehow Google or try to search who their name was.
yeah. I mean, listen, I've said it before. Movies don't die; they multiply.
Yes, 100%. They multiply, and it's amusing. It's amazing that they multiply. And this, and you're telling people as film directors tell people stories out there, facts or dramas, and if we don't have film directors, then we don't have people's stories to tell about. We don't have anything to make entertain people. in this industry, in the world at all.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's the big thing. So, I'm proud of you. You've done so much work.
Thank you.
So much. I'm please keep it up. Keep the film industry growing. Independent film makers need you. Um, you think
Okay.
I'm joking, but A-list or not, A-list or independent filmmakers, they need you. You're telling people stories. You really are telling people stories, and that's the number one priority for sure. Like I said, if we don't have anything to tell people stories, then what's going to entertain us?
Well, I mean, listen, truthfully, there's a lot of things that can entertain us, but the thing is, not everybody can do what we do. You
Right.
know, this you like for me, everybody that's involved in our business, actors, directors, producers, visual effects, makeups, etc., all that are very talented people, and they're in a different circle compared to everybody else out there because they can do something that the normal person can't do, and that's what makes cinema special.
100%. I totally 100% agree with you. So your next year, 2024, almost there, can't believe it. Um, how many more films are you making?
Well, right now, just working on side effects. We're hoping that that can be done next year. And after that, I have another film that I just finished writing that I want to start producing. I can tell you the name. It's called Street Dreamers. That's going to be the next project I'm working on. My goal for now is, unless if I meet the right person, continue making films and see if they go online, see if they don't. Like, because the thing is, this is if I ain't gonna do it, who's gonna do it?
Right.
So, like, because there was a time where I was like saying that I wanted to take a break, but then I realized I can't take a break because I haven't made
Hmm.
it. So if I continue working, if I continue getting out there, putting my work out there, once I've made it, that's when I can take a break. But right now, I'm continuing to work on more projects of my own. I'm more interested in making my own stuff. There was a time where I was working on other people's stuff. I'm not interested in doing that anymore. If I'm gonna do something film wise, I just want to tell the stories that I'm interested in telling. So I'm continuing, with side effects and then my next project and then keep the ball rolling until I can't do it anymore.
Wow. Wow. Of course, I can't wait to see your next side effects film. I'm so excited. And
You and me both. I listen, we've been working on this project for almost 2 years now, and I'm at a point now where I'm like, I want to be done with it so I can move on to the next project. Because it's been fun, but it's been difficult. But guess what? Listen, the show must go on.
yes, 100%. And of course, I can't wait for other people to see your other upcoming projects coming out in 2024.
Oh, absolutely. But 2024, it's going to be me working production wise on side effects and still promoting negativity. So like right now, like that's kind of like my main goal for next year. So
Yeah, I can't wait. 100%. Jonathan, I do 100% appreciate you reaching out to me. Be on my show as a guest. It's been an honor. And I'm so happy to promote you and your films on my show. And I can't. Everyone needs to check out Negativity and your side effects that's coming out. Of course, everyone needs to see it. Support the film, share the film. Keep sharing. That's number one. Keep sharing, get as many views, many audience, and help them win awards.
yeah, or make money.
Yes, 100%, 100%. Is there any other big announcements would you like to announce?
Well, right now, my announcement is like, listen, for those that are watching this, go check out my movie Negativity. It's on Amazon Prime Video. You can rent it or you can buy it. The trailer is available online. You can go follow me on social media. Matter of fact, we're working on a page right now and a website for Negativity so people can go find it. Right now, my thing is that's the big project I'm promoting right now, and I'm hoping everyone out there give it a watch. It's not that long; it's like 70 minutes, and I personally believe that you will be enjoyed. You will be entertained throughout that running time.
Yes, 100%. Because I saw it, and it's amazing. You
Thank
know,
you.
I really did see it. The cast, everybody in that film was absolutely, they did phenomenal. So shout out to you and
Thank
shout out
you.
to the cast in the film. Words can't describe it how good it was, but I highly do recommend it. And it's just I will spread the word about it, 100%. I
Thank you.
will,
I
and
appreciate
you
that.
have my
Hey,
support.
absolutely. We're gonna keep the ball rolling on that project, and then, like I said, on to the next one.
Yes, I can't wait. So thank you for so much for coming on my show, Jonathan.
Oh, thank you for having me and accepting my request. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're always I tell everybody this, you're always welcome back on my show.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm definitely coming back when Side Effects is out.
Yes, I really cannot wait to have that side effects back. Maybe if Diana's up to, I can have you and Diana on my show at the same
Of
time talking
course.
about the film.
That'd be great. Absolutely.
Yes, that'd be amazing. I love Diana. She has wonderful energy. You have. I really can tell. I tell every director this, so you're not the only one. I can tell a lot of enthusiasm in you, and I see a lot of things, good things happening for you, and I really do. I tell every director this because A-list or not, directors, producers, again, A-list or not, we are making films. You are making films, producers are making films, and everybody has a vision about what film they want to make. And negativity that you did, I saw it. I saw the vision. I saw it in there. I saw it while watching that film. And I cannot wait to see your next film with Diana in it. I believe it's gonna be amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate those kind words, sir, man. It was an honor to be on the show. Thank you for having me, man. And like I said, we'll see you around.
Yes, talk to you soon. Thank you again.
Peace.
Bye.